That should work. Hi, Angel. Will you play the piano, please? Let's see. Okay, and we're going to write comment and compliment forms for the teachers today. I see that Alan just gave me one. So there's more Alabama teaches. Okay, whenever you're ready again. Okay.
Okay, so, good morning, class.
Good morning.
All right, so before we do anything involving in the music, we're going to go ahead and just have our instruments in our hands, and we're going to do a D major scale. So starting from our open D all the way up to third finger on the A string. But we're going to do a little bit of a different rhythm. So go ahead and watch me first. So we're going to go D, 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 E, E, F, F, G, G, A, B, B, C, D, D. Okay, so instruments up, bow on the string, ready to go. So 1 and 2, and here we go. Okay, excellent work, guys. So now we're going to try this. We're going to be using that same sort of like rhythmic pattern that we did with like the long, short, and we're going to do a couple of little patterns. So listen to me first and try to figure out what those patterns are. I'm going to be starting on my open D. So do it one more time. So instruments up, I'll play one more time and then you'll echo. Okay, now watch this next pattern and we'll do the same thing. So. Ready, and. Okay, and now we will do, okay. One more time. Ready, go. One more time. Me first. Ready, go. Excellent. And one more. It's going to be a little bit tricky, so watch especially what my bow is doing. Alright, so ready, and. Excellent. So now, let's go ahead and open up to Yuletide carols. We're going to be looking a little bit towards the end and measure 90. So, looking there, who can, without saying it out loud, raise their hand and tell me what we have for the key signature there? Oh, yeah, Jody. Yeah, we have D. Now, I know throughout the piece, you know, we've had this sort of feeling of F major instead. So we've had the B flat and probably like a lot of low 2s, maybe even a low 1 here and there. But with D, we're going to be having F sharps and C sharps. So let's go ahead and look at just the first 4 measures of that section. So let's go ahead and get our instruments up. So just those first 4 measures. So up, ready to go. I'll do 1 whole measure and then we're in. So we'll go 1 and 2 and 3. Excellent. So, as you guys can probably tell, we have a lot of the same rhythm throughout that section with some differences here and there. For example, Marissa, in measure 91, instead of doing just that quarter to 8th note, what do you have for the second beat of that measure?
3 8 notes.
Exactly. So, as long as we keep subdividing those 8th notes, it should be no problem. So, let's try that section one more time, and we're going to add the next 2 measures. So, we're going to go from measure 90 to measure 96. So, instruments up again. I'll count off the same way. So, 1 and 2 and. I know I miscounted a little bit, but it was good you guys still kept together and we're still keeping that metric feel. So now we're going to actually go ahead and jump a few measures ahead to 98, where we have that unified rhythm again. So keep in mind that same idea we did in the warm-up, where we had that slight space for the 8th note to keep that hook bowing. So instruments up again from measure 98, and we're going to go up to measure 105, where we have that retake for the violins and violas. So, instruments up again. So, 1 and 2 and. Really quick. Wait, is anybody playing the bass part or no? Oh, okay.
We can have Angel do it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was written into the part for the basses, but there is a slight correction on measure 103. I believe it's written in that first note is actually going to be a D. So, yeah, I just want to make sure that that is noted because, yeah, I think that'll help complete the chord in that section. So let's go ahead and run that same section again, and especially with cellos. Now you guys are playing almost the same note throughout. You know, you're kind of going back and forth between that A and the G and everything. So that means that you guys are really the foundation for this section. So although it's one note, you know, it's still very important. You gotta be really confident about that. So let's try that same thing again. From measure 98. Same section all the way up to measure the end of 105. 1 and 2 and. excellent job keeping that nice foundation for everybody. So now we're going to go ahead and look at measures 98 and 97. So I know there, that's when it changes. So let's go ahead and isolate the second violins and the violas, because you guys actually have the melodic line here. So, let's see.
2 minutes left.
Okay, so just be aware that we have C sharp, so we're going to have a high 3 on the G string, as well as maintaining those high 2s on the D string. So let's just do just those 2 measures. And it's marked at, is it marked as fortissimo in your guys' part? Okay, so nice and loud from that section. So, 1 and 2 and. Okay, nice. So let's try one more time from that same section. Violas, I know that we have that quarter note 8th beforehand, so really listen in on the seconds as they're playing their 8th note, because it kind of could be your subdivision for that. Try
Oh, 96?
Yeah,
Okay.
from 96. It's the same thing again. So 1 and 2 and. All right, excellent. You guys are doing a really great job at listening and tuning in on each other. Now, cellos. Let's go ahead and go over your part really quick. So in measure 96 and in 97, how long are we going to be holding those ties for? Yeah, so 5 beats of the 8th note subdivision. So let's go ahead and just try that. And everybody else, go ahead and still keep an eye on your part. And, you know, maybe like you can tap very lightly with your foot, that subdivision as well. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so cellos from 96. 1 and 2 and. All right, very nice. Let's go ahead and do it one more time for good luck. So 1 and 2 and. All right, excellent work. So in the last about minute or so that we have, let's just go ahead and go from measure 90 and try to make it all the way to 105. So from measure 90, really thinking about those 8th notes. So instruments out. 1 and 2 and. So, I think in the context of this song, this might be the most, I don't know, the piece that stands out the most, just because it's so different from everything else. But I think you guys are doing a really great job, especially at getting that consistent hook bowing. So, thank you for working with me.
Please write some comments you'd like to share with the class.
Oh, and I can leave my baton here if somebody else wants to use it.
So,
Yeah.
you had really good, like, reinforcing the thing that you wanted to work on. Like, after we did it, you would say, like, oh, good job doing the thing, instead of just saying, like, cool, and now we're going to do this. Like, it was a good reinforcement to it.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to share with class? With your echoes at the beginning, that's a great way to start. Make them all the same length and don't talk between.
Okay.
So I would do 2 bars if you want to do your turn.
Okay.
And they do it, and then you like that, and don't stop and talk in between. That makes it easier for them. And for everybody, if you just listen for a second, when you're doing echoes, if you're gonna move to skipping notes, you have to lead to it. You can't just suddenly start on the notes. So for instance, if you wanted to start on F sharp, work up to it, have them echo that, then start your next pattern. So that they don't get freaked out. What note is it? Our class did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all were watching fingers or listening, but I think if you can just keep it going, it's more musical, it helps them get the feel. I would bet by the time we come, we'll check before you do your second teachings where the teachers are with the music. But I'll bet it's going to be more like.
Yeah, it kind of flows a little bit.
Yeah, but really nice conducting. After the first couple times, just get the one prep beat.
Okay.
Because once they're in the style, will work.
Okay.
Good. I think they'll probably know this going by the time they come. If you were just starting, I would airbow once. Down,
Okay.
up, down.
Yeah, because I realized that like I didn't actually like formally say anything about hook bowing, but
Yeah, and you don't have to say too much, but let's try this going, because we're not sight reading the pieces either with the band and the orchestra. These are things they're preparing for a concert. So our job is to reinforce what they're doing. So things like C sharp on the G string, you can never reinforce that.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to use the teaching as like an hour, like if we need an extra hour for internship stuff, are we allowed to use that as an hour?
Well, it's a class requirement. If you go observe another class besides the one where you teach, you can count that.
Okay.
Because coming for the hour you teach is required for this class.
Gotcha.
But if you need to make up internship hours, you can go watch any of the other classes, because for band, there's 5 classes total.
Okay.
Are we gonna, like, can we
Thank
email
you.
him and ask kind of what they know? Because like I was thinking for mine, like, doing something with the pyramid of sound, but I don't know if I would have to completely start from the
Yeah.
beginning, if they know.
We'll email both teachers. We have a guest speaker Tuesday and then, or Thursday. And people teach their first lesson Tuesday, so make your best guess.
Okay.
And then around then, we'll email both teachers and say, here's the kinds of things we're rehearsing. Is this about right? Is there anything you want us to really help reinforce? So, okay, let's see. Marisa is next. Angel, you can go after Marisa.
Oh yeah, do you want to